Andaman, good evening. I'm doing a captcha for seeing the chat. Give me one friggin' minute. Can't believe it makes me do 5 captchas now. Like, I'm human. I am human. Well, last time I checked, I'm human. Good evening, everybody. There we go. Wow, that's a bright outrider tonight, isn't it? I might turn that light down a tad. It's blowing. Might you turn it down a tad more. Hello. That's not even as bright as I'm going with these guys. I'm gonna go even brighter. This is early levels of. Don't know how. That looks super bright on my screen. Hello. The reveal show was pretty light today. Yeah, I didn't really catch the show. I just looked very quickly on Warhammer Community. Sisters Battle GSC. Is it exciting, Panda Man? Were you excited? Good evening, Mike. Evening, Marius. How you guys doing? I'm starting with something pretty simple tonight, which is going to be red paint. So I actually had these outriders a little bit further on, but I realised that for the longest time I've been undercoating models spraying them white and then undercoating them red after that. And if you don't spray them white, then they don't get the same vibrancy of red. So I went back and sprayed these guys white, sprayed over the painting that I'd done so I could spray them red, so I could get them nice and bright, because that's what I go for. So yeah, I don't do Sisters or GSC, not interested. I mean, on the good side of things, does that not mean we're one step closer to the next reveals being the Blood Angels? Because that's what Valrak's been hinting at for months, maybe? So maybe it means the next reveals are going to be the glorious Blood Angels. I guess we can hope for that too. Mike's streaming too, but no one is in. Hello, Mike. If you guys like YouTube, sorry, Mike streams on Twitch. So if you want to follow Mike on Twitch, what's your Twitch these days, Mike? It's Paint It Red or something like that, right? So I'm going to use a very, very big brush to make these guys very, very bright red. That's where I'm starting tonight. And maybe we'll get some more. I was going to say, maybe we'll get some actual painting done beyond just base coating red. But yeah, we're going to start with a very, very big brush. I'm going to do 2 coats of Evil Sun Scarlet on these bikes. I want these bikes to be super bright. So that's what we're aiming for. It's been a long time since I didn't spray a model white, and before I sprayed it red, and I honestly didn't realise how much of a difference it made. So if you do spray the model white, I mean, I guess that's why a lot of people undercoat black, right? And black seems like a good colour for a lot of people, but I've been doing this so long, I like to do white. Might be too bright for some people. Might even be too bright. Well, it will be too bright until I give it some recess washing. Mullen says he's pretty happy. His second armor is Gene Stealers. Mike Chili. That's who you want to follow on Twitch. So if you do follow on Twitch, check out Mike's channel. Mike has done a few commissions for me over on BAC as well. He did my Gladiator tank, he did my Terrax Siege drill, which I guess you don't see anymore because it's Legends, unfortunately. What else did you do for me, Mike? An Ironclad Dreadnought, I guess you don't see that either because it's Legends. All my converted Astra Militarum scouts were done by Mike as well. I really like the Tempest Scions as converted scouts. Marius is building some Devastators. Marius, you're going hard on the Firstborn, man. Are you sure you're feeling okay? You've got all the brain cells intact? I'm so scared of buying more Firstborn stuff, man. I just don't do it. Eternal Crusader got a tax rebate, so I pre-ordered the latest and greatest 3D printer from Elgoo. I don't know that one. How much was your printer? But congrats on the tax rebate. It's nice when that happens, doesn't it? Doesn't happen all that often, I guess, but... What does a good 3D printer cost these days? I know they've come on leaps and bounds in the last few years. Because I've seen some... Like, I've seen some of the stuff that Andrew's 3D printed, and it really has come on leaps and bounds in just a few years. What's up, Rez? Mm-hmm. I'm kind of sold on these Outriders, though. I've played them like 3 games now. 1, 2 of the games. And one of the games that I lost, I feel like it was my own damn fault. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna... Somebody said on one of the YouTube comments, they're like, you run a very unorthodox Blood Angels list. I was like, is it that unorthodox? Like Death Company, Jump Intercessors, Sangreguard, Dante, Chaplains. I don't know. Someone told me my list was very unorthodox. I was like, okay, sure. We'll go with that. It's a Saturn 4 Ultra, £419. That doesn't sound too bad, does it? So yeah, I suppose I'm running Company Heroes, which is a bit of a... I suppose that's a bit of a weird choice. I thought, having only played the Company Heroes one time, I thought they did quite well at holding an objective, which was why I put them in the list. They had the captain in the list to get the moment of glory, you know, the captain coming out of the transport, getting all those dev wound attacks or whatnot. So it was like, I knew that I was going to be doing that with the captain. And then most of the rest of the point of the Company Heroes was just to hold something and be hard to kill. And I felt like I guess you get 16 wounds on the Company Heroes. So 16 wounds at T4 with -1 to wound for 95 points. I felt like that was pretty decent. I feel like I'd 100% run them. I'm going to run them again. Ratskas is a brand new Blood Angels collector. Can't wait to get some Assault Marines zipping along with Dawnbreakers. Cool. Welcome to the channel, Braska. Unfortunately, I don't do very much 30k content, but I'm sure if you're looking for... I mean, I'm sure there's hundreds of people in the Discord that do 30k stuff. If you're not joined our Discord, you should do. The link will be in the video description. I need to actually have a look at how many members we've got in Discord, because there must be a lot. I'd be surprised if it's less than a few thousand. I actually don't even know how many. I think there's like 4,000 people in the Facebook group now, or am I lying? Hagen says it's been a long time. Do you think Outriders are worth it in Sons of Sanguinius? Well, I'm running 2 squads of them, so yes, I guess is my answer. I don't know if I would run 3. I generally am a player that runs 3 of any unit. Right, like I never really buy 3 of any unit. I think the only units that I could afford to field 3 of would be Sangreguard, Death Company. I generally don't buy 3 of the same unit. Probably partly is I just don't want to paint 3 of the same unit, and then maybe the other part of it would be just like I don't really go for meta builds. I go for my own builds. I make my own builds. Maybe that's why someone in the chat, in the comments this week was like, you're unorthodox. I was like, not really, I just go with what I think is good, right? I mean, I guess that could be classed as unorthodox. You are required to include the captain, but here's the thing, Reziel, if you include the captain, you're 175 points, right? 95 points for the guys, 80 points for the captain. So you're only like 20 points more than the assault intercessors. You have much better shooting. You probably don't have a ton worse in terms of melee attacks because you do have a company champion in that squad who has a 2 damage master. He's basically a blade guard with 4 wounds, right? So you're only 20 points more than Assault Intercessors, and I took that squad to hold an objective. I mean, basically that squad was a direct replacement for Mephiston plus 5 Assault Intercessors. I'd run Mephiston the previous 2 weeks. So Mephiston plus 5 Assault Intercessors is 175. The company heroes plus a captain is the same 175. And I have big... I'm just going to go out and say it that Mephiston is crap, right? Like, Mephiston is a crap character because D3 damage. So you look at him on paper and you go, oh yeah, he's got like 7 attacks at strength 11. That's pretty useless. That's pretty useful. Like, on paper he looks useful. But then every single time you play him, when you actually need to roll something to do some damage, you end up rolling 1s and 2s, and he just does no damage, right? Like, I think having played that captain one time with the 9 attacks, devastating wounds, I think the second you roll a single 6 out of those 9 attacks, you probably did more damage than Mephiston. So I love Mephiston in the lore, and if anyone has been paying attention, the t-shirt design we're getting done for the channel is going to be like a variant of that old 2nd edition artwork of Mephiston. So there's going to be like a t-shirt design coming pretty soon. The Blood Angels commander will have his first ever t-shirt, and it's going to be a variant of Mephiston. But I just have to tell you, in terms of competitiveness, I think Mephiston is crap. Like, he is really bad. Like, I played him a bit last edition, and I played him a bit this edition. I think he's worse than he was last edition, even with the new points drops of 100 points. I think he's still... I honestly think he's crap, and I've dropped him from my list. I don't think... That captain who's 80 points, I feel like is subjectively better. I feel really sad because Mephiston's so iconic, but Games Workshop have a really bad habit of not doing enough to the Blood Angels characters, it feels like. So, I mean, people aren't running Mephiston at 100 points. I still think you can't run him. It's 100 points, but it's just too unreliable. Harry says, do you think 10 jump pack intercessors is better than 5 Sangre Guard? I mean, it's situational, right? I think jump pack intercessors will struggle against certain elite infantry and vehicles, where Sangre Guard can probably handle those. I do think 10 jump intercessors is very good. I think you would be wrong to probably not include at least 10 in your list. I have 10 in my current army list. I could see... I mean, I think some Blood Angels people will go meta on it and run 30 jump intercessors, and I think that's probably viable as well. I think they're different from Sangre Guard. But I don't... yeah, I think the jump intercessors are good. If I had 30 of them, I might run 30 of them. They're good enough to run 3 squads of 10. Sorry, Blood Buffalo. Blood Buffalo, member for 11 months, dude. Thank you so much for being a member for almost a year. I'll make sure to get the birthday cake ready for you next month. Yeah, making lists is fun, right? Making lists is something I have fun with. I like experimenting. I'm all for looking at what popular lists do, or the best lists do. I mean, that's a staple of my channel, is like I look at the best lists and I tell you guys about them and I tell you why they're strong. But it's still, when push comes to shove, I still create my own lists, I guess. If Mephiston could join Bladeguard, he'd be awesome. I'll reserve the fact that he could be awesome. I think he would be a lot better, but because his buffs would be really good on Bladeguard, sure. But his ultimate problem is his damage is just bad. It's just bad. I guess there's no other way to describe it. He doesn't do any amount of reliable damage. It's bad. Even with Assault Intercessors letting him reroll hits. Letting him reroll wounds, I think his damage is still too random. How about Astros? He's 3 AP and he's dev wounds and gives the Death Company fight on death for free. Here's the thing though, right? Like, if you're going to fight on death with the Death Company, you probably know you're jumping in, so you're probably going to want to spend the CP to give them the guaranteed fight on death, right? If the enemy are fighting your Death Company first, and it's anything that hits hard, you're probably going to want to have the CP for fight on death, right? Would that be fair to say, Jim? Not many people are playing Astaroth. I feel like he doesn't get enough attacks. It's nice he's AP3, I guess. It's nice you get that one turn of dev wounds. I mean, I guess the way to look at it is most people see that one turn of dev wounds and goes, oh well, it's only once per game, it's not that good. Death Company don't usually survive beyond like one turn of combat, right? They jump in, they do their one turn of combat, and then it's kind of game over for them, because most people will try and mop them up. Most armies can do enough damage to get rid of all the Death Company in the turn after. So yeah, I mean, maybe Astaroth is a little bit more exciting now with Lamartez jumping all those ways up in points. He's only 10 points more than a regular chaplain. I just don't know if he is better than a regular chaplain, right? Maybe slightly. Maybe slightly? Yeah, probably slightly. I suppose fight on death when you've not got the CP for it 50% of the time might work not too bad. I'd like to see what you think of Tigris' profile. Like Mephiston, I can't see where he'd fit. I must admit, I haven't looked at Tigris for a while. Colin was running him. Maybe it was late 9th edition Colin was running him. What's Tigris' special ability these days, Marius? He's got something, I can't remember it. I think at one point he had like a free reroll of his psychic test, right? Maybe that's what he had last edition? Reggio's thinking of quitting 10th edition altogether, man. You know that it's not the greatest rule set when you've got hardcore people thinking about quitting. It's been a tough edition for some people, man. Blood Angels aren't in that bad a place, Reggio. You can have fun with unorthodox stuff like I do, I guess. What's pushing you over the edge, dude? What's making you want to quit? Anytime there's a lull in the edition, I use it to try and get a lot of stuff painted for the next edition, I guess, right? There's a player in the group near here that's playing 8th edition. Yeah, I mean, some people really hate 10th, man. I don't think I've ever played in an edition where people hate the edition so much as 10th edition. It's hard to break it down to exactly what people hate, but like, a lot of people don't like the fixed points costs. A lot of people thought it removed some of the fun from army list building. I get that. I really hate it when you get to like 40 points left in your list and there's literally nothing you can put in your list and you're just sat there with like, oh, I need to re-evaluate this list or go back to the drawing board because it just doesn't work because I can't use these last 40 points for anything. That might get better when Blood Angels get their own book though, right now, because right now our default enhancements from the index are kind of crappy, right? He gets a Feel No Pain Against Mortals, he gets Psychic and -1 to hit. Yeah, that doesn't sound that exciting, Marius, honestly. Ultramarines have not had the best time in 10th edition either, though, right? Like, in terms of... I mean, I know the Ultramarines characters were inside the Space Marine Codex, but, like, did Ultramarines... And beyond Gladius, like, Ultramarines don't even have, like, their own detachment, right? They can use Gladius. What detachment is actually best for Ultramarines at the moment? Are they just using Gladius? I mean, you tell me, what are you running at the tournament you're going to, Marius? Oh, there's a Vanguard list for Ultramarines that's super popular. Oh yeah, right, the one that, like, I know the one with the Aggressors and the... Oh, what is it? Calgar. Yeah, there is Centurions as well, I guess. Redeploying Centurions. Still, it did seem a bit weird that they're... Because Ultramarines always had this sort of like advance and shoot sort of playstyle, or Was it fall? They always used to have fall back and shoot. That was it. That was like their big thing in for a few editions, right? It felt like Ultramarines always had like fall back and shoot, or it. I guess it all changed, huh? So maybe live for a couple hours tonight. If anyone's got any questions about anything 40k related or other stuff, I was going to swear, but maybe I won't swear quite so early in the stream. Just throw it into chat. I'll get to it. If you're a channel member, leave a super chat. If you want to do that for free, you can do that for free as a channel member. Just click the $ next to chat, and you can do it for free. The new Horus Heresy models are pretty nice. I'm going to put all my Horus Heresy stuff in one of those display cases, man. Paradine, thank you so much for the super chats the other night. I do appreciate it. Or it was gifted memberships the other night. Thank you for that. Always kind of makes everything that we do on the channel feel a bit worth it when someone comes in with like 5 gifted or something like that. It's very cool. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. So this was the guy that I was talking about. This is going to be... How well will my camera focus? Autofocus. I'm struggling a little bit with the autofocus there. Autofocus. Strange. Oh, look, I can zoom in now. I never knew you could do that. Autofocus? Focus! So this is going to be my company veteran with a Stormbolter. Or, I guess he's got a bolt. What does the company veteran have? I think he's got a bolt. I think he's just got a bolter. So this is a librarian from something. This is a librarian from Leviathan with his axe arm mutated into a Sanguinary Guard banner and a different Terminator shoulder pad put on him. So this is going to be my Ancient. Yes. Is that what he's called for the company of heroes? An Ancient. Well, maybe give him a golden banner. That's maybe what we'll do. Yeah, I'm going to put all my Horus Heresy models in some sort of display case. I'm going to put all my like bike characters in there because I've got 2 captains on a bike. Well, they're legends now. I've got a bunch of attack bikes, so I'm going to try and make like a diorama of all my stuff that is legends now and to show it off. I'm going to try and put it on the shelves behind me. Robert says he really dislikes how Mephiston is really good in the books and then he's garbage on the tabletop. He's been that way for ages, man. I think like 4th or 5th edition was the last time that Mephiston was like genuinely scary. Oh no, do you know what it was? I remember when it was. He could be scary in 8th edition. Because in 8th edition you could do that thing where characters could fight twice, right? They could do all their attacks, and then if they died, they could fight again. I think there was some other way you could fight twice in 8th edition. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but you could definitely fight twice in 8th edition with certain characters. I think it was a CP or something. I think that's when he was last genuinely scary. So he's not been scary now for a year into 10th edition. He's not been scary for like 5 years. Which is a little sad, because he's so iconic, but he's also so rubbish. Quicks, what's up? I converted my firstborn Marines into Van Vets. Good for you, man. Conversions is how I started this channel, and hey, look, I'm literally painting a guy who is a conversion right now. I love doing conversions. I think it's one of the funnest things of the hobby. It's one of the reasons that I kind of like the starter sets each edition to be Space Marines, right? Because like I had I actually had 2, because I already have the old Blood Angels librarian, in Terminator armor, so I actually had 2 of these sculpts. So I was like, oh well, if I've got 2 of these sculpts, I need a company hero who's on a 40mm base. So this is going to be my company hero that's on the 40mm base that's going to... I've used 2 heavy I basically have converted models into company heroes, because I'm not buying the company hero squad box. Not that I don't think the new company heroes box is cool, I just think that I guess if I have something that I can convert at this point, I'm probably going to try and convert it. Like, for example, like the Indomitus, the Leviathan box, I have 20 Infernus Marines. I'm like, I was looking at the sprues the other night, I'm like, what the hell am I ever going to do with 20 Infernus Marines? I don't even think I'm going to build 1 Infernus Marine. Not until they get a much better flamer profile, right? The flamer profile is super underwhelming, you know, like Eldar get flamers that can move 24 inches and have dev wounds, and then after they've shot they can move another 12 inches. The Space Marine flamers make you take a battle shock. Ooh, scary. What would you rather on your flamers, battle shock or dev wounds? I actually think dev wounds on flamers is a little bit silly, because it just means that, like, any strength 4 model with a flamer can just dev wound a friggin' Land Raider. Okay. Like, that's gonna happen. Good evening, Highland Phoenix. So this isn't a Terminator Ancient, that's what I was saying, Highland. This is my company Ancient. He's a converted one. I already have 2 Terminator Ancients. One has a Thunder Hammer, one has a Lightning Claw. I don't suppose I'll be using them all that much these days. I honestly don't even know when I last used them, but I already had Terminator Ancients, and I needed a Company Heroes Ancient. So this is the guy that I picked to be a Company Heroes Ancient. Part of it was I wanted to use some of these new Terminators because I've got a bunch of them and I haven't used any of them. So this seemed like a good excuse to get one of those new Terminators built and painted, because I haven't painted any of the new Terminators from Leviathan. They've just been sitting in the box, because I already had a boatload. Like, I already had like 20 or 30 Firstborn Terminators with bolters. Some of them are the metal ones as well, like super old, tiny little models. But yeah, so that's where I sort of thought what to do. Oh, Highland Phoenix, yeah, you were building 3 Firstborn Command Squads, weren't you? I actually found my Firstborn Command Squad when I was building, because I'd made an Ancient, a Firstborn Ancient for them. Sorry. I think I'm going to do the banner a completely different colour from the model. It's a Sanguinary Guard banner. I don't know. I might make it gold. I might make it try and stand out. Why am I painting red on red? Because I want my base coat of red to be super bright. Because then basically what I will do is I won't do any red edge highlighting of the red. I'll just use washes over the top of it to bring it back down and dull it down. So I spray my models white. Then I either paint them Mephiston red, 1 coat, and then after that 1 coat of Mephiston red, I'm going to do 2 coats of Evil Sun Scarlet. Mephiston red is somewhat bright. This is Mephiston red. This is Evil Sun Scarlet. So Evil Sun Scarlet on the left look much brighter. Here's an Outrider that's got 1 coat of Evil Sun. Here's an Outrider on the right that's got the one who's... So this one's still Mephiston red. This one's Evil Sun. Evil Sun has this almost like orange to it. You probably see that on the camera. But once you get round to washing it, it won't look anything like as orange as it looks right now. So, it's probably kind of a late, like my painting is battle ready, Dodie. So I was going to say, I'm sure if you're looking for painting tutorials on YouTube, or you're wanting to paint to the highest level, unfortunately that's not something I'm doing. But if you're wanting battle ready, then hey, I sure as hell can do battle ready. Actually, when I was spraying these guys, I actually sprayed an assault intercessor. That was it, yeah, an assault intercessor. With a power fist and a plasma gun, because I was thinking I was going to do a video tutorial on painting, on how I paint guys red at some point. Yeah, I literally just picked this guy because it was on the right size base. Do I want another captain sculpt? You mean like, do I want just another Primaris captain sculpt in general? Like, to what end, Campbell? Good evening, Campbell, by the way. Michael, good evening. Astartes Party, good evening, how you doing? You know what's funny is Mark said to me, because he saw this Outrider, he was like, I really like what you've done with the Storm Shield on top of the Outrider's bike. It really fits in. It really gives it a bit of variation, as opposed, because these guys are just monopose, right? And I was like, I literally put this Storm Shield on here because if you look underneath, I ended up with a giant gap. Look at this big ass gap at the top of this guy's bike under here. So I ended up with a giant gap, and I was like, man, I've built this bike really, really badly. I've got a giant gap on top of it. How do I fix this? So I figured a Storm Shield was the right size to fit over this giant gap. But it does break them up. It does make the bikes look a little bit less monopose, right? I think the Outrider size bases are pretty cool. They are, they can be kind of obnoxious if you place Outriders in the right place, right? Like they take up a lot of space. They can make it difficult for opponents to get to you. They can keep units alive. It kind of can go both ways, though, right? Like sometimes you want to charge an enemy and you're like, oh my god, these giant Outrider bases, what a pain in the arse. But sometimes it can be for you, right? Like sometimes it's like, ooh, these giant Outrider bases will just block a huge area of the table and my opponent won't be able to get to my, like I think it was like last week or something, I just parked 3 Outriders in front of my Sangre Guard and was like, right, well, if you want to get the Sangre Guard, or maybe it was the Death Company, you're literally going to have to go round the Outriders. And if you put the 3 Outriders like this, there's quite a lot of distance to go round those guys, right? These bases are 90 long. So they're like, I actually don't know how many millimeters in an inch, but I think it's like 2.5 centimeters as an inch. So if these guys are 90 long, that means each base is 3.5 inches. So if you leave an inch between, 3.5 plus 2, it's like 11 inches. So you literally park these 3 guys, line up your Sangre Guard behind them, and just be like, well, you can't get to the Sangre Guard this turn unless you kill all the Outriders. It's quite handy, right? I like it. I actually need to fill this guy's leg hole. He's got a hole in his leg from where his chainsword should be. I didn't put a... Bikes are 12-inch move, they are indeed, and Outrider's special ability is an auto 6-inch advance. So they can just move 18 if you're happy to advance them. They don't have any assault weapons, so if you advance them, they're not doing much else. But I've been using them a few games, and I've been advancing them quite a few times, and I think they're fine. I like the fact that they're OC2 in each bike. I like the fact that they're 4 wounds and toughness 5. So yeah, I'm gonna keep playing Outriders. I might be the only Blood Angels player playing them, but then, like I said, I don't typically conform to the meta lists where you're supposed to. I suppose as a Blood Angels player, you're supposed to only run Sangre Guard and Death Company and Jump Assault Intercessors, and you're supposed to not take any tanks. I run tanks every game, so like I said, I enjoy making my own lists. I enjoy figuring it out. And hey, the one thing that I have got going for me is when I go to tournaments Nobody knows how to play against my Blood Angels because I don't conform to any... So I beat people at tournaments because they've never played a Blood Angels list like me before. Can be cool, right? Hello from Canada. Hello, Aaron. Highland Phoenix is tempted to use attack bikes as ATVs. I don't know if ATVs are really viable anymore, right? Like, the changes to melta-guns or multi-meltas, I think, really hurt them. But I don't know, you know, like, I hadn't played Outriders, and I've been playing them a few times, and I kind of feel like they're okay. So maybe, maybe ATVs deserve a run out at some point. They're one of the few Primaris units that I actually never bought. I never bought any ATVs, because I did have a lot of regular attack bikes. I think Outriders would be excellent in Gladius as well. I think that the +2 strength and attacks from Sons of Sanguinius helps them a lot. I don't know if I feel like they would be as good as in Gladius, but maybe we're thinking of playing them in different ways, Rez. I mean, the fact that the whole squad only gets 6 bolter shots feels kind of underwhelming, honestly. That's all I've been shooting anyway. Maybe I've been missing a weapon. I don't think I have, though. I think they just have a twin bolt rifle in each bike, and I think that's it. There's 6 bolter shots, twin length, right? AP, strength 4, AP 1. Jim's tempted to run 2 Invictus Warsuits, summon cursors to trigger the ability. They hit like a truck in Sons of Sanguinius, and tough 8 is an awkward toughness right now. Yeah, I don't know about Warsuits, man. I haven't run them myself. I haven't played against anyone running them either. How many wounds do Warsuits have these days? 13, is it? I mean, I assume they still have a 3-up save. Yeah, I don't know about Warsuits. Smash the like button. Good evening, JT Money. How you doing? Campbell loves Warsuits. Okay. Anyone seen the new releases? Yeah, I mean, a few people were chatting about the new releases. Sisters of Battle, GSC. People excited? 12 wounds, 3-up scout. Strength 16 on the charge. I mean, the strength is very nice for tank shock, I suppose, right? I like the Warsuits when they had Infiltrate last edition. I mean, I guess Scout isn't that much weaker, right? Bring out the suppressors, says Campbell. Is anyone... That's a good question. Is anyone running suppressors? I keep looking at them. Because they are just 85 points for 3 guys with autocannons, and they do have very good range, like 48 inches. I keep looking at them thinking, like, is there some play around these guys? And then inevitably I end up choosing something else. But I do keep looking at the suppressors, because I've got 6 of them, I think. And I mean, -1 to hit on a critical enemy unit. And it was very easy to make the -1 to hit, right? You just need to hit the enemy 1 time with 9 shots. Like, you're probably going to manage that. So I keep looking at the suppressors and thinking, like, maybe there's a play here. I never end up. Something always gets cut for them. It never happens. Stories Party loves Redemptors. Yeah, a few people have. It seems like a few people are sticking to their guns in terms of, like, people do like Redemptors. People do like tactical war suits. I must admit, I just keep avoiding Redemptors because they're so damn expensive, man. Like, I think I've been scarred from last edition, because I think last edition you could get Redemptors for about 170, 180 points, and even then, I think they put them up because I think at the beginning of the edition they might have been like 160, and they put them up because the Black Templars players were spamming them and winning a lot of events with them, because I think last edition Black Templars got like a 5 up in Van on the Redemptors, and they may even have had a Feel No Pain in some detachments as well. So yeah, I think ever since they went up, I think I've been a little bit reluctant to give them a proper... I'm a mad wanting to buy a Tidewall gun rig if I don't have in-play Tau. What you wanted for a terrain piece, a conversion? Why not, man? I've bought a bunch of stuff for like board games that I've never got round to play, or like I'm a huge fan of the Aliens movies, so I bought like one of those Alien board game expansions. I never even played the base game yet. I mean, I imagine I'll play it at some point, but I mean, if you've got the money and that's what you want to spend, it's your money, you earned it, spend it. What are you going to use the Tidewall for, the gun rig? What do you think of Blood Angels being above 50% for all specs? Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? There's like 3 units for Blood Angels that are very, very good. And we know what those 3 units are. They're Death Company with jump packs. They're Death Company on foot coming out of a Rhino. And then it's like the tiny little squad of Assault Intercessors with captains. So I think if you are a tournament player and you're trying to win tournaments, or you're going to big events and you're going to run that very meta Blood Angel stuff, then you probably do have a 50% plus win rate. My issue though, and it's the same issue that's always been, I suppose, with 40k, is that the people that are winning with tournaments are not representative of 80% of the player base, right? And I guess my example is very true, where like I don't run tournament lists. I go to tournaments, but I don't run 3 squads of Death Company on foot. I don't run 3 squads of Jump Death Company. I run what I want to run because they're the models that I have, or I run what I want to run because I've always run my Blood Angels in a specific way with tanks and stuff. And armies do get hit sometimes with nerfs based on what the tournament players are running. So if Blood Angels are above 50% in tournaments, that's great. I mean, it is great that some people are playing it that way. But the problem is it filters down and it hurts general people who are just playing normally. Because if I've been, like, I was playing normally, right? I played Drukhari a few weeks back, and I got 7 points in the entire game against the Drukhari, right? 7, that was it. If I hadn't had my 10 points of painting, because I wouldn't even have double figures, I got smoked that hard by them. I'm not running super meta Blood Angel stuff. So, while... Games Workshop are also very cagey about showing the win rates that they want to show, right? Because like they don't always show the win rates, which is a little bit annoying because I like seeing the win rates for everybody. It seems like Games Workshop only show the win rates in the Meta Watch articles when it suits them, or when the meta is in a good place. Like if a new army comes in and a super high win rate, they don't show it, because I was looking back make one of the tactics videos in the recent weeks, and I did notice that Black Templars were like really high up, right? Like Black Templars were the best Marines. I think Auspec's video this week also showed that again, that like Black Templars are doing best out of all the Space Marines, right? And I saw the video, or I saw the MetaWatch article from Games Workshop saying like, oh, Black Templars are really high, like 56% or something, right? I think they're maybe 54 now or something from Auspec's video. I'm not entirely sure. I think I might have. Well, I definitely did skim that video. I think it might have only came out today, Auspec's video, but the Auspex was counting Ironstorm from Blood Angels. Well, that swings the whole thing, right? Like, because Blood Angels aren't an Ironstorm faction. I guess if you're playing Blood Angels as Ironstorm, I don't want to say you're not Blood Angels, because I hate people saying that you can only play one detachment, and I think it's good you can play the other detachments. But I think that should be clarified, like in the win rates, you know, like if the win rates should be Ironstorm Blood Angels, it shouldn't just be all bumped together as Blood Angels, because Ironstorm is a very different beast than everything else, right? Yeah, detachments do have serious problems, Rezio, because they create this thing where certain units can't be balanced properly because they're giantly overpowered in specific detachments. I think the only way they would fix that is if they gave units points costs per detachment. I don't think they're going to do that, because that would have been the way to fix... I mean, they kind of did that, I guess, a tiny bit with the Black Templar tanks, and that, like, they make the Black Templar tanks require you spend money on their... Thanks so much for subscribing, Swabulous. I appreciate it. I think maybe like in a week's time we might get pretty close to 15,000 subscribers. I'm like when I logged in tonight, it was like 10 subscribers away from 14,900. So we're ticking over for sure. But yeah, I don't think Ironstorm Blood Angels should really be counted along with other Blood Angels wins. What I did notice was Dark Angels were super low. I thought Dark Angels would be better than... But regular Space Marines were 40% as well, so it's... It's kind of repeating it's kind of repeating what happened last edition, where Space Marine, their codex wasn't really all that. It was a very... It's like the Space Marine Codex is always one of the first books, and as such, it's not very impactful. I feel like, would that be fair to say? The first books are always a little bit less impactful. I think Blood Angels was one of the first books in 9th edition, and I think that Blood Angels had a rough time in 9th edition because being that first book, it was kind of... it kind of became very predictable what Blood Angels were going to do in 9th edition, because the book didn't give a whole heap of options. Not that I thought Blood Angels were necessarily that bad in 9th. I enjoyed playing them in 9th. Zachary says if you aren't running Sons of Sanguinius, you aren't playing Blood Angels. I don't know if I agree that 100%, Zachary, because I think that I think the only other one that really stands out for that is Gladius. Like, Blood Angels can definitely perform really well in Gladius. I guess they can obviously perform really well in Ironstorm, but so can everybody perform well in Ironstorm. Ironstorm is just a very powerful detachment. So yeah, I don't think I like pigeonholing people and saying that they're not Blood Angels if they're not doing one detachment, right? But I do think that they need to show more in-depth win rates, or they need to figure out how they're dealing with the win rates, because right now it's a bit... it seems like they only share win rates when it suits them, and I would rather just see the win rates all the time and know what's good and what the plan is, right? Like, Our Black Templars being brought down, it doesn't seem like it. They're still very, very strong. Or Eldari being ever brought down, they seem like they're still very, very strong. Blood Angels were the top at 9th edition when they had Armor of Contempt. I mean, if you give Armor of Contempt to an army that wants to spam 3 units of 10-man squads on 2-up saves, then it's pretty obvious, right? Like, if they brought back Armor of Contempt all the time for Blood Angels tomorrow, not that they will do that, but if they did that, you can guarantee everybody will instantly be putting 30 Sanguinary Guard on the table, and you can guarantee Blood Angels would just get like instantly up 10% win rate or something, right? Because units that have a 2-up save that can ignore 1 AP essentially gives them a 1-up save, plus you could put them in cover for a 0-up save. So you need to hit them at -2. Well, no, you need to hit them at -3 to just take them off their 2-up save. If you have people that can spam big units of that, 30 of that, then of course it's going to be a very high win rate army, right? Today's Games Workshop event was a big disappointment, says Akushla. I don't know if that I would call it was a big event, right? It was just a bit of a preview for two of the new books. Was it a big event? Was that what you guys were expecting? I was probably not expecting any more than what we got, to be honest. I think it was good they gave AOS its flowers another day. Yeah, I mean, AOS got like a big box update, didn't it? There's a lot of stuff in that AOS box that looks like it could be conversion material for Blood Angels as well. It's actually kind of crazy. They basically have a squad of like Blade Guard, and they basically have a squad that could easily be Sandguard in that AOS box. Yeah, if money was no object, I'd probably buy that AOS box just to do some conversions with. I think those box sets are they've been creeping up for a while though. I mean those box sets are not gonna be cheap. You're probably looking at like $200, close to it, right? Hey Phil, how you doing? Crozer was looking for a roadmap. I think you and me and everybody were hoping for a new roadmap, Crozer. Because I think the current roadmap kind of ends with the Sisters and the GSC, right? So I mean, maybe they'll get released, and then the next big... So I mean, possibly what that means is the next time they do some sort of big release or a big teaser or whatever, they called it a big preview, right? Next time they do a big preview, maybe we're going to be getting like the next roadmap. Maybe we're going to see a bit Blood Angels. Maybe we can dream, we can hope, right? There's a new Necromunda season. I bought Necromunda when it first got re-released a few years back. I must admit I've never played it. Mike just dropped off his 15 Twitch members as he was finishing his stream. Thanks so much, Mike. You are a superstar. Do appreciate it. For people that are watching on Twitch, basically on Twitch I'm live on Saturdays and Wednesdays. Saturday we do some painting, Wednesdays we do a live battle report. The live battles are usually probably I would say the stream that I get more engagement on. Which is fine. I enjoy the live battles a lot. And our battles are definitely a bit jokey. Not super serious. We played a win. We definitely played a win, but we definitely trying to have a bit of fun with it, bit of banter. So So welcome if you're tuning in for the first time on Twitch. Thanks so much, Mike. Watch Black Templars and Death Watch be the new Space Marine Codex. I really hope they get Black Templars right, man. Because I think Black Templars are one of these ones where they've really struggled to balance them now since they did the re-release. Or maybe even since they got that when did they get the supplement? Was it in the 9th edition they got the supplement? But yeah, ever since Black Templars got their supplement, I think it might have been the 9th edition supplement, they have really struggled to keep them in check. They've always been, I guess, they've always been like top 10, possibly just one of the best performing Space Marine armies for a while, which is weird because before like 9th or 10th edition, Black Templars were like kind of like this just sort of successor chapter to the Imperial Fists, right? You never really saw them. I guess they had a couple of characters or whatnot, and then they just exploded as like this super competitive, hard to kill detachment thanks to their, they call them vow, that's it, the vows, yeah. Their vows just giving them a little bit more on top of everything else Space Marines could do and just pushing them over the edge to a top 10 faction, I guess. That's why I bought Black Templars, right? I bought Grimaldus and his entourage, because Grimaldus comes with like 3 little minions. And I bought Elbrek. I think I was going to run them in the Arcs of Omen season. I think I did play as Black Templars a couple of times as well in 9th edition, but nothing too serious. We jokingly called them Red Templars because I was using all my Red Blood Angels models to play as Black Templars because they were just that good. Hi Paul, how you doing? GW did a battle report for AOS Lodge. It was the worst battle report I've ever seen. How come, Robert? I think it was using the new AOS box, right? Like, the battle report was surely the new AOS. I looked at the name earlier. What is it called? Skaven something. Skaven Blight? Rattle Blight? I don't know. It's something to do with Skaven, right? My experience with EOS is very, very limited. I played Warhammer Online, the MMO. I liked that a lot. That was probably the most involved I've ever been on Warhammer Fantasy. Skaventide, thank you. Yeah, because in Warhammer Online they had some Skaven, dungeons. They were like the first dungeons you did when you got to max level. Oh, and they were like something like Warp Fire Caverns or something. I can't remember. It's been I think Warhammer Online came out in like, man, it must have been about 2005. Warhammer Online came out. Maybe it was 2006, or maybe it was even longer. But yeah, it was just like 15-20 years. I liked Warhammer Online. If you never played it, you should play it. It was a fun game. Hey, Crozier, thanks so much for subscribing on Twitch. Paul says they were always really good or really bad. Yeah, I feel like they've been good as long as I can remember at this point. The battle report was poorly mic'd. The camera work was horrible, and it was really bad production value. Who was in the battle? Which host? Like, what presenter was it? Was it Nick or was it someone else? Was it a free battle report or it was Warhammer Plus only? Alright, there's the first coat of red done on those guys. I'm going to do another coat now. I'll be a bit quicker with this other coat, because I'm not going to try and hit every nook and cranny quite the same. I will always give you my monthly sub, says Crozier. Thank you so much, Crozier. I know that you can give, is it Amazon Prime monthly subs or whatnot on Twitch. I've got a couple of people that do that. I do really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I don't do any of my pre-produced content on Twitch. It's just the army show, the battle report, and then any time I'm hanging out, I guess. They had 2 wrestlers? What, like WWE wrestlers? Seems like an odd crossover. I don't follow Age of Sigmar, honestly. I watched a tiny bit of the reveal the other night, but only because Valrak was streaming it, and Valrak's been really nice to me. Not that he ever was not nice to me, but he's been giving me like information and speaking to me a lot, so I've been following Valrak's. I occasionally watch Valrak anyway before I was ever doing YouTube, so I was watching a little bit of his live stream. The reveal show was super late at night though, so I just caught the start of it, like the first half an hour. Do you think Mephisto would be good enough if his weapon was changed to damage 2? Yes. That's literally the only change he needs. Make his weapon damage 2. You could probably leave him at 100 points. People would probably feel them. D3 is rubbish. I feel like I would probably feel Mephisto if his sword was damaged 2. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that his strength 11 sword is damage D3 anyway. I mean, I guess that is what it is. Sigmar is popular enough to need a WWE crossover. I will be daring and say give him D3+1. I mean, D3+1 would make him very good, I guess. It's crazy how... It's the same as, like, Blood Angels literally only needed 1 strength to be a lot more valuable in Sons of Sanguinius, right? Or a lot more viable. You know, because everyone was saying when Sons of Sanguinius was +1 strength, they're like, oh, Blood Angels are a joke. You make it +2, Blood Angels are actually pretty decent again. So yeah, I don't think Mephisto needs much to make him decent, but for me it really comes down to the fact that he's supposed to be this melee powerhouse, but he can't do any damage in melee. So I guess you fix that, and you probably make him quite viable. Alright, these guys, with a quick second coat of red, are looking very bright now. This is the normal brightness where I start to actually put down some real colours on my models. So I guess I'm never gonna just undercoat with base red again, because I feel like I just need to do white, Mephiston red, Evil Sun red, second coat of Evil Sun red, and then they are very, 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 very bright red, and I love it. What wrestlers did they use then? Because I'm a big fan of wrestling. Not so much modern wrestling, but when I was 20 years younger, boy, did I love wrestling. If you smell what Age of Sigmar is cooking. Right? Transfix and Gaze should shut down opponents' fight first. That would be quite cool. I mean, in a way, Transfix and Gaze probably is the lower version of why they get to fight first. What camera do I use? Are you asking me, Miguel? Oh right, it wasn't like, I thought you were meaning like it was WWE Superstars. WWE, yeah. It used to be called WWF when I watched it. At the start of the stream, you said you primed with white prior to basing. Yes, 100%. I prime with, well, I actually use Colorforge sprays now rather than Games Workshop ones because they're cheaper and you get more in the bottle and they basically match the Games Workshop colors. So I prime with white and then I prime with red. And then once I've done that, I'm going to do 2 coats of Evil Sun to make them ready orange, and then I'm going to basically I use Agrax Earthshade on them. So basically I panel line, I pin wash basically the entire model. So it basically it grims them up enough where I don't need to bother edge highlighting. The Rock was at WrestleMania this year. I know he's been back wrestling a little bit. I saw a couple of videos on YouTube. I remember watching The Rock when I was a kid. I like The Rock. I like the movie that they did, the Doom movie. I don't know if you guys saw that Doom movie. I don't think it was the most popular movie, but I liked it. It had Carl Urban as the Doom guy. The WWE, yeah, the Wildlife Federation took their name back. I think they probably changed it just to make it more standout or something, right? Yeah. It's probably a bit embarrassing, to be honest, that I haven't ever made a tutorial video about how I paint my guys red, so I think I need to do that. I was halfway through filming my tutorial for painting Dante. I feel like I want to finish painting Dante, so yeah, I need to finish painting Dante, and then I need to do my my tutorial on red paint, or painting battle-ready red soldiers, which is, I guess, what my Blood Angels are, battle-ready soldiers. McMahon rebranded WWE to modernize it and do the entertainment angles. You know what? When I went to New York City in 2010, I think it was. No, 2010 or 2011. I went to New York City, and I went. I hadn't been a fan of WWE in like 20 years, but I went to Madison Square Garden and watched whatever it was, Raw. I enjoyed it. They had like a cage match at the end. Why don't you run Astrath with your 5 Death Company instead of the Chaplain? He costs 10 more points. I don't think I've got 10 points on my list. But we were talking about Astrath earlier, saying like he's not so bad. 1 turn of Dev Wounds is pretty nice. Yeah, I mean, if I had 10 more points, possibly I would do it. Death Company hitting at strength 10, Michael, is pretty good. I don't know if you need much more than strength 10. I mean, I guess the +1 to wound the Chaplain gives you is nice against vehicles or knights or something of that nature, Catan, but I mean, I guess if you really need the +1 to wound / lethal hits, you just pay the CP for it, right? I mean, Blood Angels don't have that many good strats. One of them is definitely Red Rampage, so you just need to make sure you're on point with your Red Rampage usage, right? Man, I must admit, as much as I like getting there, 2 coats of red paint on a bunch of bikers is pretty boring. Oh, there's a horrible gap on this bike here as well. Look at this. I failed at that. I didn't even notice that gap till now. God damn it. Oh, I need to find something else to stick over this gap on the front of the bike. Ugh. That gap is the hardest to remove. I feel like I could have got round it by just putting a bunch of poly cement in it and just held it closed together for like 5 minutes, but I did get, I got a really bad gap on my other Outrider. I covered it on the other one, but I didn't notice it on this one. I've had these Outriders for like 6 years or something at this point. I bought them with the Indomitus box, but never made them just because I tried them 1 or 2 times and I didn't like them. I didn't think they were that strong. So, I guess I feel like they're a little bit stronger now, maybe. Oh, that's way too thin. Just spread that around. I'm going to probably paint their helmets white in a minute as well. Go back to white, basically. I should have mask and taped their helmets when I was spraying them red, honestly. That would have saved me a little bit of time, but... Evening, Golden Guardian. Just built some Death Company, played Bully Boys on Thursday, had a tough match. Congrats on beating Bully Boys, because they absolutely smoked me, dude. I really struggled with them. They're so fast. They're so durable. I suppose it depends possibly on how many Mega Knobs you're up against. I think Mega Knobs will get a points change. Maybe. Maybe they'll leave them a little while because they're a new codex, but they feel like they are objectively the best unit in the Orc Codex by a long shot, those Mega Knobs. Enjoy the gym. I was there earlier today. I was crushing it. I can prove it to you, look. There's my rings. 1247 calories out of a target of 600. 148 minutes of exercise today, check that out. Look at that. Not your average Warhammer player. Built different. I'm getting old, man, so my way of trying to starve off old age is shed loads of exercise. 148 minutes on a Saturday is pretty decent, I think. I'm so tired in the evenings. I gotta get up very early in the morning to do a bunch of exercise before the kids wake up. Alright. 3 down. Just this guy. John's attacks are strength 10. Yeah, I wish they were strength 10. I've got a lot of strength back. Remember I broke my arm? I've managed to get like a lot of strength back in my broken arm, so that's nice. Let me see if I can make this a tiny bit bigger. Nope. I actually have so many Twitch viewers that it's hidden the YouTube viewers. That's a first. Where'd 350? There we go. YouTube viewers was hidden. Wow, 44 YouTube viewers tonight as well. Nice. Doesn't often happen that I get double-figure Twitch viewers hiding my YouTube viewers. There we go. Yeah, no, I've been trying to get a lot of strength back in the arm that I broke, as well, because I guess if you don't do the physiotherapy when you're my age, you don't get the strength back ever, so. It's only probably like in the last 3 months or something, like a year after I broke it. Because I broke it in November. Yeah, November, like 18 months ago. It was only like in the last 3 months or something. I've got to the point where like it doesn't. I don't wake up and my arm's really sore and really stiff, I guess. So it took like 15 months of physio after a broken arm. I can quite believe what it must be like when, you know, when people are in accidents and they break their legs or something and they, you know, like you see them trying to learn to walk again and it's absolutely brutal. Yeah, I think the older you are, the more brutal that becomes. Howdy, comrade. I'm viewer number 42. Played a Lamenter's Flavoured Sons of Sanguinius last night. That way, the dice bending me over was low rack. You're right. Oh dear. Oh dear, man. I hate games like that where like you feel like you're playing reasonably well, but you feel like the whole time you're like, man, I just need 1 or 2 good rolls and I've got this because I'm playing reasonably well, but you just keep getting absolute dog turd on your dice rolls. It happens to the best of us, man. I know it's like, been there. I think we've all been there, right? Jason's been squatting 110. Nice. I was hoping to get some weights in my, like more serious weights in my... I do my gym and stuff in my garage, so I was hoping to do that at some point. I'm going to sell we've got like an extra stroller thing, pushchair thing for like, because I got the 2 young kids, right? And we don't really use one of them anymore. I was actually talking to my wife about it today and was like, we need to sell this stroller thing. And she's like, what do we do if we sell it and the other one breaks? And I was like, God damn it, I guess we hang on to it for like another 6 months or something, or maybe another year, and then we sell it. Because I don't want to sell the stupid second stroller and then the one that we've got breaks and then have to buy another one. So yeah, maybe after that I'll get a bit more. My saves against Colin were pretty sick this week. I think I had a really good save with the Sangre Guard, right? Like the Sangre Guard had to save on 5s or something. 9 saves on 5s. And I made like 5 of them. I thought it was pretty good. But I actually thought Colin's dice were very bad. I don't know if I felt like my dice were amazing. I think those dice that Colin got were really... I don't know if they were... Like, he just had a really bad game with them. Maybe he's got it in his head that those are bad dice now. But, yeah, Colin did not have the greatest night rolling dice. But I don't think my army was particularly well equipped. Like, my army isn't... How do you say it? Like, when he lined up his army and I saw all the high toughness stuff he had, I didn't feel like I had the tools to deal with his army, honestly. I feel like I did beat him, and I did beat him comfortably, so it was a weird game for me. Like, when I line up against Death Guard and I see all the really high toughness stuff, I'm like, I'm not sure I have the tools to deal with all this crazy high toughness stuff. Well, like, a bunch of my attacks are not that high strength, right? I'm a complete new player, says Comrade, and I shafted myself. Just was funny when my ballistas just whiffed everything. My Land Raider ate a max damage vanquish. Dude, I mean it. Stuff whiffs. Blood Angels are not a shooting army. We often have turns where everything in the shooting phase whiffs. It's happened to me so many times. Colin is a good sport, yeah? Colin made big mistakes on secondaries. I mean, he possibly could have tried to do some deploy teleport homers in my DZ for some more points. He didn't do too bad on assassinate, I guess. Right, where was that? I had a different brush here a minute ago. Did I put it over here? I feel like he didn't do that well in primary actually as well, Rezio. Hello, Zacharias. I don't know if I felt the SG saves were way above average as much as he also rolled a bunch of ones when he actually had to do damage to the SG, so that helped as well. I mean, that just kind of shows how bad D3 damage is, right? Because it was like he was gonna kill, if he'd rolled 2s on average, he would have killed so many Sangre Guard, but he rolled so many 1s for the damage that it was just like, D3 damage, man, it's just so crap. It is so unreliable on things. I think it's very difficult to... Yeah, I mean, I gave Mephiston a fair shot, right? Like, I think Mephiston is good in boarding actions, not that many people are playing boarding actions. And I think, like, they obviously dropped him to 100 points to try and make him more attractive, or whatever you want to call that, I guess. More competitive at 100 points. I just don't see it, right? Like, and I don't think the problem is the points. Like, I think 100, like, I think if you lower it to 90 points, he still has the same problem, right? Like, he's still unreliable, and I don't know if spending 90 points on him would be any better than... Like, the captain at 80 points is more reliable. So, until you make Mephiston less than 80 points, and I don't think they would make him less than 80 points, then I don't think Mephiston is a viable choice for a Blood Angels army. Which is a little bit sad, because he honestly... Well, I don't have my Dante painted yet, so Mephiston is the only, like, Primaris character that I have painted. And I honestly think he's so damn cool. He's possibly the best looking well, I mean, he is kind of the coolest Primaris character we have, right? You could argue in some ways he's equally as cool as Dante, maybe even better. But it's just so bad. Like, ugh, I don't know. You just take him and not care? Yeah, I mean, that's what I did. The Luke says, loving the Blood Angels content. Luke, thanks so much for that. I appreciate it. I took him in 9th edition. I took him to a tournament. I think I probably took him to a tournament in 9th edition when Reziel and a few other people in the chat were like, John, don't take Mephiston to the tournament. You won't do well. And I was like, well, I've practiced him a bunch of times. I want to take him because I've practiced him. And do you know what? I took him to the tournament. He was unreliable, like everybody told me he would be. And I was kind of hoping that maybe... Because he would have the occasional game where he would spike and he would be really good. But he was unreliable, and I was kind of hoping that the spikes might happen at the right time and I could actually... You know, like, I could win a tournament with Mephiston and be like, yeah, look, he's not totally bad. But I think he was better in 9th than he is in 10th. And I think in 10th he's... I mean, in 9th he could fly around and stuff, which obviously helped a bunch. But yeah, I don't know. So as cool as Mephiston is, he's possibly the best Primaris character. He looks super cool. He's got all that great lore. I just don't think you can run him. Not if you want to be competitive. So that's where I stand on Mephi. Campbell says we need more likes on the stream. Yeah, I mean, guys, I always appreciate it if you do the algorithm stuff. I usually only ask for it like once during the stream so it doesn't become a bit obnoxious. But if you ever can, if you're ever watching the stream and you see you haven't hit the like button, do you know what? I do it for channels that I like. The second I click the video, I just instantly like it, and then it feels like I give back a little bit to the channels I like. Even if I don't watch them for a long time, or even if I don't plan on sticking around, like if it's a live stream or whatnot, I still just hit the like button as like an automatic thing I do when I open up a video for a channel I like. Yeah. I remember in 8th or 9th edition you had the number of damage 3 weapons as a criteria for scoring during list reviews. Not liking D3 or D6 damage for being swingy and reliable. Yeah, I did have a number of 3 damage as a criteria for scoring in the list reviews. You're 100% right, but I mean, I guess Blood Angel's pretty much lost all of her 3 damage weaponry, right? I mean, like, the only 3 damage weaponry you can get in melee is Centurions? I mean, I think Gabriel Seth gets 3 damage, but no Blood Angel character gets it. I guess the edition is a bit different, right? -1 damage is a lot less prevalent, though, it feels like, as well. Because in 9th edition, there was a lot... I feel like there was much more -1 damage. Or half damage. There was a bunch of stuff that had half damage last edition as well. That stuff doesn't seem to be as prevalent, or I don't seem to see it as often. Maybe I'm not playing against the right armies, but... Oh, tactical warsuits still get 3 damage? Sure. The Redemptor Dreadnought last edition got D3 plus 3, I think. So the Redemptor Dreadnought's melee last edition was legitly scary. So it got quite a big nerf, actually, the Redemptor Dreadnought. I mean, even the Brutalis doesn't have as much damage as the Redemptor Dreadnought had last edition. We need the D3 damage hammers. I don't know if we necessarily do. Death Company do just fine as they are killer, right? Do we need D3 damage hammers? I think what I would like to see is, if I had to choose one thing, I would like to see Invuln save added to the Sangre Guard. Because I think they still have a great big weakness in the shooting phase. They're somewhat decent in melee combat. So I think if I had to choose one thing that I would want to change for this edition, it would be give the Sangre Guard an Invuln save, and then I think we're starting to talk about... I think they would be somewhat decent with an Invuln save. I don't think it unbalances anything. I think it just makes up for the fact that, like, I'm not even saying it would have to be a good Invuln save, probably 5-up would be fine. It just means that if they're getting hit with AP4 or AP5, and I know they said this edition is less lethal, but like I just played Death Guard on friggin' Wednesday night, and yes, they can have AP5 flamers if they want. It was AP4 when he actually shot at me, but it could have been AP5 if some situations were slightly different. I think that, like, if you're hitting your most elite unit in the game with AP5, I would really like to at least be able to roll an armor save. So that's why I think a 5-up Invuln on Sangre Guard would go a long way. I think, to me, that feels like it would be more impactful than 3 damage hammers. Because most of the time when the Death Company jump in, they kill what they need to kill, man. Be interesting to know what, like... Yeah, because if you run 10 Death Company into, like, a Titan... not a Titan, a large Knight. Like a... Toughness 13, 24 wound Castellan Knight. They probably still kill it, right? With 2 damage? Counterpoint, what would the point of AP4 or 5? I think AP4 or 5 are dumb, DTM. I thought they said that they wanted to reduce AP and make the game less lethal. They said that, right? So why do we still have AP4 and 5? Because... I think the problem is AP4 and 5 mean that some armies don't have problems against that, and other armies have huge problems against it. I honestly actually don't understand how, like, a Land Raider doesn't get a 5-up Invuln when you've got, like, a friggin' little Venom thing from, like, Drukhari getting a 5-up Invuln. Yeah, they're delete buttons. I think the biggest problem I have, actually, probably DTM, is I think that any time you have to remove models without getting any interaction on your side is a feels bad moment. And I think Games Workshop know that, right? Because, like, they already changed mortal wounds They already changed devastating wounds from mortal wounds. Remember, like, the start of edition, when the thing used its harpoon gun and it could instantly do like 12 mortal wounds, or the D cannons could do like 12 mortal wounds. And you were just like lifting up whole squads of guys without any interaction, right? You don't get to roll any saves. And I think that's the thing I really don't like, is like, I can understand lifting up an orc boy or a guardsman or something, you know, like, oh right, you don't get to roll a save here because it's a guardsman wearing, I don't know what guardsmen wear, flak armor. I think they used to wear flak armor. I don't even know what they have these days. But you know, like, it's a guardsman. He's literally wearing a t-shirt. So when he's shot by a bolter or a rocket launcher or something, yes, it makes sense that he does not get to roll a save because he's wearing a t-shirt. Sanguinary Guard are wearing Artificer armor. Last time I checked, Artificer armor had an invuln save and is basically the equivalent of like Terminator armor, right? Like, what's the definition of Artificer armor if not having a 5-up invuln? Because that's what it always was. Just for some reason they forgot that Sanguinary Guard are wearing Artificer armor and don't get a 5-up invuln. But yeah, I think in general, I don't like it when people can have to remove models and not get in. Like, it's fine. Like, if you kill my scouts and I don't get to roll a save, fine. What I don't think is good is like lift off my 300-point Land Raider and don't get to roll a save. Right? Like, that's problematic, I think, and that's a balance thing that shouldn't happen. And I think it goes both ways, right? Like, you wouldn't want a Necron player lifting up the Silent King without rolling any dice, right? You know, so like, they need to uniform some of that. You can't have like a 300-point model for some faction having a 4-up invuln and then having a model that costs twice as much on the Space Marine side just doesn't get to roll anything. I think that's a bit silly. And I also think it contributes a bit to like some of the imbalances that they have in the meta watch. Because if there is an army that can do like lots of really crazy high AP, then they're obviously going to be really strong into armies that don't get AP or don't get invulns, right? It's too much to talk about on a chat limit. Yeah. Maybe. But I don't think that lifting off models without rolling any dice on the defender, lifting off your most elite models, isn't a thing. Or shouldn't be a thing. I mean, in some ways it's probably why I'm not the hugest fan of like the amount of mortal wounds. So Artificer armor came out in 5th edition. It is the name given to individually and heavy modified suits of power armor. Existing suits of Artificer armor are generally being modified and decorated for certain individual models in the chapter. These suits are kept within the chapter even after death of the original wearer, inherited by high ranks and high honoured individuals. Commonly, this armor incorporates elements of the various marks of power armor, as well as unique customized armor plates and helmets. Then it shows a bunch of people that wearing Artificer armor. For example, Azrael is wearing Artificer armor, Ezekiel is wearing it, Leman Russ is wearing it, Conrad Cruz, Vulcan, Fulgrim, Lorgar. Mephiston is apparently wearing Artificer armor, so is Dante. They both do have an invulnerable save. Tycho's apparently in a set of Artificer armor, he does also have an invulnerable save. And then Inquisitor, Torquemond Cotiez is in Artificer armor. I'm pretty sure that he has an invulnerable save as well, right? Anyone watch the Interest Tabletop Tactics video on the Custodes rule today? No, I didn't. Tell me about it. I've never had 5 Rubik's arrived with a round of combat with Death Company, not once. I get to make saves, but it's entirely pointless because the sheer volume of tax means that it's impossible to pass the saves. Yeah, I suppose that's a valid thing to say as well. Rubik's are just troops though, right? Like, I'm talking about more like your 30 point per model guys, I guess. Like your Terminators or something. I don't know. I think, yeah. See you later, Rezio. My friend plays 1000 Suns, or 1000 Suns, and it's actually sore crushing to hear Doombolt. This unit cannot make any armor saves. Yeah. It's a tough one. It is a tough one to get around for sure, or it's a tough one to get everyone to agree on for sure. But yeah, I think rules that mean that people can't interact with the game are not that fun. And as an like Blood Angels is an army, we're for the most part, bar like 1 or 2 characters. I think there's like 2 things on my list that have AP3 or higher. I've got like the las cannons on my Predators. I've got Dante's Axe. Got anything else in my list that's AP3 or higher? I suppose I've got las cannons on the Blitz. So I've got 6 las cannons on my list. They have AP3. Bear in mind, a lot of the time, I guess when you shoot las cannons now, the opponent's getting cover against them, so they're really AP2 most of the time now. I've got Dante's AP3. I think that might be it. What else have I got that's AP3? Oh, I've got Infernal Pistols. Okay, so I've got my AP4 Infernal Pistols. Do Infernal Pistols need AP4, I guess is my question. Would I be happy if they made Infernal Pistols like AP2 and just made AP more sane? Probably. I think I prefer the future for me would look better if the insanity of AP is just reduced. Like, I don't think anything should have AP5. I honestly think nothing should have AP4. If you're going to have armies with no invulnerable saves, you should not have weapons that are AP4. Maybe AP3 should have been the cap. I kind of thought that's what they were talking about, because they took a bunch of weapons that had AP4 for Marines. Think of Chain Fists. Chain Fists were AP4. Well, they became AP2. So I guess if Chain Fists were AP4 and they became AP2, why did Meltas get to stay AP4? Like, what? Because Blood Angels could field Chain Fists. I mean, arguably we can field Meltas as well, but I like Terminators with Chain Fists. I thought they made a lot of sense. I thought they were really good against vehicles. I thought it was like like in the moment, for example, there's no reason to take Chain Fists anymore over Power Fists, right? Because Chain Fists have like anti-vehicle 3-up. Power Fists are like, I guess for Blood Angels, strength 10. So it feels like there's just, yeah, there's some confusion. I'm confused. I guess I don't know. I think I would rather see a situation where AP was normalized and we didn't get situations where models are hitting stuff with massive amounts of -4. Why are Meltas so weak? Yeah. You could argue against all AP3 how easy cover is to get. Well, sure, but they did say they were trying to make the game less lethal, and I think they failed. If that was their target, I think they failed with that, right? They did give Chain Fist anti-X instead, though I think they failed with that one. Yeah, I mean, I think I was genuinely excited when they said that they were going to make the game less lethal, and I guess it really just hasn't panned out. I think that's probably the way I look at it. yeah, I think that I think that's my biggest thing. That rules that remove a bunch of your interaction are genuinely a feels bad moment. Right? Like it feels bad if I just say to you, you know, that's like, you still have some characters that can do like 9 mortal wounds and stuff like that, right? Like if I just tell you your squad's taking 9 mortal wounds and you don't get to roll any dice, you just need to lift off 9 models or however many, you know, 4.5, 2 damage models, whatever it is. I think those sort of moments are the things that I think that 40k would benefit from not having. Because I don't think they're fun. But yeah, I suppose you can go the other way where, like, what DTM was saying is, like, you can just get hit with weight of attacks. So you can roll saves, but you're getting hit with such a weight of attacks that it actually doesn't matter either way. I don't know how you fix that, DTM. I think that's a really good point. So maybe everything I'm saying is a complete moot point, because it's not going to fix the fact that some units will just come in and be like, aha, I am a squad of guys that has 50 attacks, green tide orcs or something. So you will get to roll saves, but it won't matter because there's a million attacks coming in. So maybe it's a moot point, but yeah. Interactions that means that one player is like removed from being able to do anything, I don't like. I read that wrong there for a second to start this party. I thought you said remove all 1,000 suns from the game, and I was going to agree with you. I'm just messing with DTM. I think the Custodes Codex was an attempt to fix the non-fun interaction of their army feels, like, but they failed. I haven't played Custodes in ages, it feels like. I guess no one's really been running them in my circle in 10th edition. Andrew actually has a Custodes army, but he just hasn't been running them. But usually, if Andrew's not running them, it usually means that they're not powerful. We always need more Roboto Gillinot in life, yeah. Man, I miss Roboto Gillinot. He's waiting to be painted, by the way. And you know what? I don't know if you guys remember, I had this model here. This guy, who was like my converted librarian with the giant wings. He can't even have wings anymore, so I don't know what the frig I'm going to do with this guy apart from have him sit next to my desk and just wait. This is why it's a bad idea to convert models, because I guess I'm not even sure this guy can have wings anymore. Use him as a Sanguinor. Yeah, I mean, he's got... I think people would take offense if I just dropped down a Sanguinor on an 80mm base. It's a Brutalis coming out of Stormraven. It could be a Brutalis, couldn't it? I wonder if we'll get any custom dreadnoughts, like if the Blood Angels get a Primaris Death Company Dreadnought. I guess if a Brutalis had a Magna Grapple, that might be something real interesting, huh? After all, it was Magnus that gave us the Psychic Dreadnought schematics. Was it Magnus? Blame Magnus. How would you improve Outriders? Let the Sergeant have a special weapon, like the Power Fist that I modelled this one with, because I hate the fact that they can only take... Sorry, the Power Sword that I modelled this one with, because I hate the fact that they can only take chain swords, and I wasn't gonna... I think Outriders needed the Sergeant to take a special weapon or something, right? But Primaris units don't get that, I guess. Primaris units just... The Sergeant doesn't get a melee weapon, the Sergeant sometimes doesn't even get a special gun or anything, he just gets like a pistol. It's a little bit sad. I think that the Primaris models would have... I understand that maybe they didn't want to have to include all those weapons on every single sprue, but surely they could have just sold an upgrade kit. I wouldn't have had a problem with buying an upgrade kit to get like a Sergeant weapon or something. Some of them do, some of them don't. Yeah, I mean, like, the troop choices are interesting. Like, heavy intercessors don't get a special on the Sergeant, but assault intercessors and regular intercessors do. And then infiltrators and inceptors, which are units that would sort of make sense to have that special weapon, don't get them as well. It's I guess there's no real method to the madness, is there? Heavy intercessors do get one heavy bolter, right? But yes, there's... I mean, I guess last edition when it wouldn't have typically been your Sergeant that got the heavy bolter, but I guess now it can be because they kind of got rid of Sergeants, I guess. But yes. I feel a little bit sad that we don't get, like, melee weapons on the equivalent of like the Sergeants and the squads for Blood Angels. It's just what GW decided to put on the sprue. It probably just goes on how much space is left on the sprue, to be honest. If there's space on the sprue for a couple of melee weapons, then you maybe get them. If there's no space on the sprue, you're not going to make another sprue to give you melee weapons. Sternguard were an interesting squad, right? Because I really thought Sternguard would have been a squad where the Sergeant would have been allowed like a melee weapon. In Sternguard these days, I think it's like the Sergeant gets a special bolt pistol or something, which is... I mean, I think a bolt pistol's kind of an underwhelming weapon anyway, but that's pretty much what the Sergeant got for the Sternguard. They could have given Outriders the Lance keyword on the weapons. That would have been cool, wouldn't it? They had like a rule in 9th edition called Devastating Charge that gave them a bit more damage on the charge, plus 2 attacks, I think, on the charge. Good evening, Flo. Where can you post? You can just post your list in the comment to this video when the live stream finishes, or you can put it over in the community tab. Either or is fine, dude. Alright, I got about 10 more minutes here, guys, and I'm going to be taking off, so if there's any last questions... we do have our live Army List show every Sunday, so that kicks off at 8 UK time. So if you want to tune in tomorrow night at 8ish, we'll go over some of the community submitted Army Lists for the week. Starguard can have power fists? No, they can't. Not anymore, dude. The squad that can have power fist is Legends. The new Starguard squad don't get any special weapons on the sprue. And unless I'm being really confused, I'm pretty sure I'm right. Outriders never got, yeah, they never got a proper sprue, yeah, I think, they're right, the new Starguard can have the Sergeant and the Power Fist. Really? I must have missed that then. Maybe the... I was going to say, maybe the datasheet that came with the Leviathan box didn't include it then, and I assumed that would roll over into the Codex, and maybe it's different in the Codex. Because Leviathan didn't come with any special weapons for the Sternguard, right? Oh, it's been changed since Leviathan. Oh, maybe people moaned about it, did they? Or was it just changed... randomly, I guess. Oh, okay, I missed that. No, that it's funny that because I thought Sternguard were pretty cool when they could potentially shoot twice, and then they changed that as well. I guess when they changed that, I never paid enough attention to them. Because I don't think their new rules are nearly as good as the rules when they could shoot twice, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, giving out wrong information. This friggin' here is coming out off this brudge. That's a good thing about buying some cheap brushes. If one of the bristles is out of whack, just pull it off. I like having cheap brushes for base coats on models. Keep the good brushes for when you need to be accurate. I bought like a pack of like 10 of these brushes, dude, for like a $5 or something. I don't care at all when I'm this early in the painting process about quality of the brush. Big nasty frayed brushes is where we're at. I do honestly think not gluing Outriders to the base might have been a better way for painting them though. They're kind of... it's just a little bit of a pain to paint round the bottom of there. Hey Foz, how you doing? Night, Michael, thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I suppose every time that we put in a rule that's very powerful, people do abuse it, you know? So, I mean, they probably... They can't win. We can't win. Games Workshop can't win. I saw someone running a Impulsor with 5 Desolation Marines inside it and was like, wow, I didn't think anyone still ran Desolation Marines, but I guess like 5 Desolation Marines inside an Impulsor is actually not a bad amount of shooting. I think the problem is the cost of them are still way too high. It's like 5 Desolation Marines in an Impulsor costs more than a friggin' Land Raider Redeemer. I don't think I take 5 Desolation Marines in an Impulsor over a Land Raider Redeemer. I think that'd be crazy. Alright, so I'm almost back to where I was with these guys before I decided to respray them. That, like, I was just getting their base... Just starting to get base colours down, that's fine. Just glad to get back to where I was. They're going to match the rest of the army, I guess. Oh well, I won't be lazy. If I don't have white spray, I guess I can't spray models. I didn't realise, I've been using the white undercoat for years, but I honestly didn't realise how much of a difference it made. And it makes a big friggin' difference. I have the same brushes and they made me go back to the old ones I was replacing. I bought a set of these on Amazon. They were so cheap, man. But honestly, I just used them for wrecking them for on base coats, trying to paint the base coats on quickly. Not that any of the painting I do is particularly quick, but quick for me, I guess. I'm gonna keep running the 6 Outriders though, right? Like for years I've been saying how bad Outriders are. I do think there's some play in them. I'm gonna run the 6 one at least like another month, maybe. Or at least another couple of games. If we keep winning with the 6 Outriders on my list, then I'll take the 6 Outriders to the GT. I do think that like there's something to be said about the Sons of Sanguinius giving their melee something of a punch. Makes a difference for them. What's the model in the top right corner of your screen? Who, this guy? He's my company hero. He's my ancient from my new company my company's hero squad. So every company hero is basically another model from the Leviathan box I've converted because I'm not buying the company hero squad. So this is a Terminator with a Sangre Guard banner who is my company ancient because they need to be on 40mm bases. So I used, because I had 2 librarians in Terminator armor, right? Because I traded my half of the box away. I traded the Tyranids to Miles. That was what I did, and Miles gave me all the. So I have 2 of everything from the Leviathan box. I already have 2 librarians in Terminator armor, not including these 2. So I used one of. So I was looking for a sprue to make a company ancient out of, and this was the guy that I decided to do. He basically decided the thing that made me change was this guy has a Stormbolter on his arm, and I believe the company ancient just has like I think he's just got a bolter or a bolt rifle maybe. You can't give him a melee weapon. So, because that guy had a Stormbolter on his arm, it just seemed to make sense that it was like, alright, he's going to have a Stormbolter on one arm and he's going to hold a banner in the other arm. Right after I made him, Mark was like, oh, I had a spare banner for a Terminator Ancient you could have sent me. And I was like, it's fine. I just used a spare Sanguinary Guard banner. I had a bunch of those lying around. It still says Blood Angels on the banner. Might be a tiny little bit too small, but I don't care about little things like that, I guess. So I'm using 2 heavy intercessors, one with the heavy bolter and one with the bolt rifle, and then I'm using this ancient, and then I bought the, remember they sold the company champion, the Primaris one, in the box by himself? I bought that right before they announced that you couldn't run him on his own anymore and you had to buy the company heroes. So I have at least one of the models is the right model. So the company champion is the right model. Or the chapter champion, I forget exactly what his name is these days. But the other 3 are just going to be conversions from the Leviathan box. That's my plan anyway. Alright. That's going to be it for tonight. The Outriders are rebased. That guy is rebased. It took a lot of time. The Stern Guard from the Leviathan box could fit the company ancients, Robert, but they're on the wrong size bases. Stern Guard on that, I did check, they're on 32s and those company heroes are on 40s. You could have used the Blade Guard Ancient. Oh yeah, I did have one of those Blade Guard Ancients that I never made as well. Oh well. This one's cooler, is he? Is that 3 colors in base? No, it's like... It's the most basic of basing. But there's... Next paint session we'll get 3 colors on them, Jason, for sure. I've got like 6 weeks until the GT, so... I don't think I've got much else that needs painted before the GT. Like my whole army is probably going to be like minimum 3 colors. It's not really... My army's not in a good state at the moment, and I'm using like some super old Predator models and stuff like that. But it'll be battle ready. Hope to see you tomorrow, Killer. Hope to see some more of you guys tomorrow. Have a nice time checking out the revealed models, DTM. Thanks for hanging out all night. I will see the rest of you tomorrow night, probably, for some army lists. I need to get an opponent for Wednesday. I'm actually going to message Miles and see if he's around. I know he was away this week, but we'll see if we can find a different opponent from Colin this week. So, alright, I'll see you guys. Have a nice evening. Thanks so much for watching. Hit the like button before you head out. And thanks to... Did we get some super chats tonight? I'm sure we got something. We definitely got someone over on Twitch as well. Crozier, thank you so much for that. Do appreciate it. So we'll see you tomorrow for army lists, guys. I wonder if anyone else has got Outriders in their lists. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Thanks. Take care. Good night.